Meanwhile, Elizabeth Warren is now leading in a Real Clear Politics poll as Wall Street's big fear gaining momentum right now to former Ted Cruz campaign pollster Chris Wilson, Democratic strategist Jessica Tarlov. Way early, and I know you both often remind me of that, but the latest trend continues what has been for, Elizabeth Warren, some good news. And maybe the heart situation with Senator Sanders, Jessica, has put his schedule under more scrutiny, and she's benefited. What's going on?
Well, Bernie Sanders actually has made an announcement now that he's going to be changing his campaign style. So I expect that we're going to be seeing a lot less of him. And we wish him all the best, obviously, and with news that his daughter-in-law has passed away as well. Elizabeth Warren has been surging for a couple months now. And I believe, and Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, or feel free to agree with me, that she's kind of been a co-frontrunner for the last 2 or 3 weeks when you look at where the trend lines have been going. The big issue for me continues to be support amongst African Americans, which is gaining. But if you look at South Carolina, Joe Biden is getting even stronger at about 50% support with black voters. And there's new polling out of North Carolina, which has him at 63% support, and she's at about 6%. So she has a lot more work to do, but she's consolidating support from Harris supporters and Sanders supporters and is now the number 2 choice of Joe Biden's supporters, which is a big deal.
You know, Chris, what's a big deal is how she's raising this big money, and it's coming in small denominations like the fat cat kind of contributions that have defined most of Joe Biden's contributions that have now hit kind of like a limit here for the primary season. He can't tap them again until much later. So I'm wondering if that says something about Elizabeth Warren's broad-based populist appeal within the party.
Well, I think it does. And look, Jessica's exactly right in terms of the way she laid out the sort of the movement within the race. I do think the one challenge that Warren has is by pretty much unilaterally disarming when it comes to big dollar donors is she's going to be massively outspent. I mean, you look at past successful Democrat campaigns, and I give the full credit to the Obama campaign. Not only did they not give up on big dollar donors, they were the first campaign, Barack Obama was, to eschew contribution limits and the matching contributions. And so he actually was the one who took it to the next level in terms of raising big money. And I think by Warren not doing that and solely relying on small dollar donors means that she's going to be, if she were the Democratic nominee, she would be massively outspent. And that puts other Democrats, she might still be able to pull out from that, but it really puts down ballot Democrats in a very difficult situation because the presidential candidate of either party is really the top fundraiser, not just for themselves, but for their party and for the leading candidates for Senate and governor and House across the country.
Jessica, let me ask you a little bit about this Hillary Clinton talk. Her latest tweet aimed at the president.
Don't tempt me, Neil.
Don't tempt me. And I'm wondering if she's assessing the landscape here, Jessica, saying, all right, Bernie Sanders, for health reasons or others, might not be getting to the finish line here. His campaign might be sort of stumbling here. There are a lot of missteps that Elizabeth Warren has made on the stump that might have her thinking, she too could implode, and I can just ram in there up the middle. What do you think of that?
Well, I would be completely stunned if Hillary Clinton actually got into the race. But then again, Donald Trump is president, and I have been stunned before. I think at this moment in time, she feels emboldened by what's going on with the impeachment inquiry. Also, it's the release of her new book that she wrote with her daughter, Chelsea, there about gutsy women. And there's been a lot of conversations and frankly, very positive interviews with her about her career, the campaign that she ran, and what we have as Russian election interference and what's going on right now with the inquiry. So I don't expect her to get in there, but I think that when she looks at the field, maybe similarly as Joe Biden was thinking in 2016, she's thinking, I could be doing better than all of these folks, but that doesn't mean that she's going to be coming out there and doing it.
Up. She might be sizing it up to think, all right, none of these guys could hit the convention with all the delegates necessary. She might be just doing the math, and she has an ample resource of funding appeal that the party might beckon back to, and the people are giving her a second look. Chris, do you think that's a real possibility that she joins the race?
I would fully encourage her to do it. I hope she takes advice from Republican pollsters. I would say I really hope she does get into the race, and I think, yes, she absolutely should. But again, I got to agree with Jessica. I don't think it's likely that she would, but I've been shocked before, and who knows? Maybe she sees Biden and doesn't see him as a strong candidate. She knows Warren would be a disaster as a Democratic nominee, and so from that standpoint, maybe she sees an opening for herself there. What's really interesting is you see the fading of the other self-described moderate candidates who have completely fallen off the page. And then so it does put Biden, I think, in a strong position going into the South. But right now you've got to look at in the way that the primaries lay themselves out, Iowa, New Hampshire. I mean, Warren probably runs up the score in both of those right now with Sanders' fade. And from that standpoint, you're going to go into a Super Tuesday contest with probably a two-man race. Or, I'm sorry, a two-person race, a man and a woman.
Really quickly to add to that, Chris is exactly correct about the other moderate candidates. There are a lot of people who thought that Amy Klobuchar would be doing a lot better than she has been. She has a very popular platform and is not resonating. We really only have one moderate candidate who's right where Hillary Clinton was, and she's saying, guys, this is what wins us elections. 2018, moderates were sent to D.C.
All right, we'll watch closely, guys. Thank you all very, very
Thanks
much.
so much,
In the meantime,
Bye, Chris.